Look at that. We erased the floor. That is pretty crazy. Yo, people, what's going on? Thanks for coming to another episode of ROM Hacking Adventures. And today, we're going to be removing the floor in The Sims 2 Advance and continuing our journey towards this. Any picture you want on the floor, like the literal tiles of the game. So there's two things from the previous episode. We learned from I'm the Best and Michaela Cameo. First of all, great suggestion from her on the game to edit. And I'm the Best helped us find a tool in order to edit that game, yy-chr. And this tool is amazing because it allows me to test different palettes and see which ones fit for my needs. And what I mean by that, well, we'll see. But first, we got a couple things on the agenda. One thing we want to do is we want to look at the location of those palette files so that way we can replace them. And what do I mean by this? Well, let's open up our friend yy-chr. First things first though, make sure you got the ROM from the last episode. If you haven't watched that one, go check it out. That card right up there. And you want to go ahead and copy that. So right here I've got my backup. I'm going to make a copy of my non-backup from the previous episode and paste that right there. So next we're going to open up no cache GBA and we're going to go to cartridge menu and open up that copy just like that, and it's going to go through all its sequence here. This one unfortunately does not have a fast forward feature, or at least not handy dandy on the buttons. I wish it did, because that would make things a lot easier. But anyway, we're just going to proceed through the game, and I think space is A, yep. And we're just going to create our character. I should play this game in my spare time, but right now we're just kind of going through, seeing what we could edit, and that will be that. All right. So let's go upstairs to our house. It's going to guide us through like it's the first time. There you can see our messed up palette that we created last time that has kind of one messed up tile that we're looking to fix. All right, so let's continue forward through here until we get to our room that we want to edit. And this is the room that I'm going to be completely removing the floor. So we're going to go ahead now, minimize that window, go to window, palette viewer, and here's our palette, just like that. It's that easy. So now what we want to do is go down to the line we're going to edit. Now I can tell you guys right now, this takes a lot of practicing. You know, we use yy-chr to test the right palettes, but we were finding that this palette right here is matching this mismatch square right here that you could see. So this one right here, this one goes to, if I can pull it up, this goes to this second palette. So all we have to do is hover our mouse over the second row of this background palette. And we can see that it's at offset 50005000020. So what we're going to do is click on this, hold down Control, and then press G while you're holding it down. And you go to 05000020, just like that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to close out of here, or minimize it, sorry. And then I'm going to open up my copy by right-clicking it and say Open with HXD. And that's going to allow us to search through the whole ROM. So next, we're going to hold down Control again, and now we're going to press F instead of G. And then we're going to click on hex values, and now we're going to find this exact sequence of numbers or hex values. So I'm going to type in 1F, and you can see there, I already have it. So you're going to type in that, just like you see here. Type in enough so that it's unique enough that you can find, but not so unique that there's no result for it. But in this case, there should be. So we're going to search that, search all, and there's our offset, 00815E68. So now I'm going to go ahead and open up another program. First, I'm going to close out of here because this computer does not have that much RAM. So I want to do that. And I'm gonna prevent my other computer that's recording from sleeping while we're doing this, because I would not want to lose that. Anyway, so next we're gonna open up another program that I really like to use. It's called Advanced Palette Editor, and a lot of other people use this in the ROM hacking community. So we're gonna go ahead and open that. It's super easy. All we gotta do is open ROM and go to our copy, click open, and type in that offset, so 00815E68. Now we can try and change one of these. So let's try changing the one that we saw our square. We could see now that we have our square here. And if we go here, we go to Advanced Palette Editor. In fact, let's also get a yy-chr session going here. That will kind of help us piece it together, because I've been doing this for hours on end, but some of you watching this may be like here for the first time. In that case, definitely go watch the other videos. But yeah, I want to help you guys piece this together. So we're gonna open our copy in here, and to make it easier, I'm also gonna export a new palette. So I'm gonna go to here and then Tools, Palette Viewer, Save BG, and save it as a new one. Close that. And now we go into yy-chr, click on Palette, open Palette, and now we go to the one that says Copy. Okay, now we're gonna go to the offset that we found in the last video. So I believe it was 800 something. Oh, that was way too far. Here we go. Yeah, so here's where we want to edit it. Okay, so now we're gonna do that bit shift forward so that we can get everything to line up, just like that. And here we can see our edited tiles. So we can see, or we rather can't see, but this one has one that's out of place. So if we click on this one, you could see that this color here matches that color. So if we go back to this thing, we can see, okay, this is what's matching up with the black here. So that's number 17 in the palette, and that's 3 spaces away from this brown. So we go 1, 2, 3, and that's our palette right there. So it's super easy. We can't edit this one because this is showing us what's currently in the game, but we can press this copy here, and this is where we edit it right here. So we make all of these just like that, and then we can replace. Now, don't touch anything on this one. It's very tricky. I would always mess it up and ruin it so that I can't revert the changes that I did, because you're gonna see here, this is gonna look like what we wanted it to. So let's go ahead and just reopen it for now. So open recent, open the copy. So that's what it's looking like right now. As you can see, this is gonna be a pain in the neck to try and fix all of this. So what you gotta do? Well, there's a couple things you can do. One thing is, yes, you can do that. You can brute force it and try to be an artist. Some of you out there are probably really good artists and could probably fix this right away. I myself, I'm not that great with visuals. So for me, what I did is I found one of these same things. If we go back to our palette, I found one of these same rectangles that I was able to use as an alternate palette. Okay, so it takes a little bit of trial and error to see which one leaves basically the least amount of mistakes. But basically I went through all of those. I'm not going to do that in this video, but what I will do is I will show you guys the right one, okay? Or the one that I found to be helpful. So let's go ahead and copy this. What we can do in Advanced Palette Editor is copy that again and replace it again. And that's going to revert everything. See what I said? It's really nice. You can just revert that. And now if we go back here, it would be reverted. So that will be fine. But the palette we want to edit here, we want to edit this second one, the second brown one. And the reason that is you can see this color right here matches that one. My mouse disappears, but it matches the baseboard. So that's what we want to change. So I keep forgetting that this is the actual palette, so we need to actually edit the changed palette and type in 0000, replace, and reopen. That's our workflow here. So as you can see, this whole baseboard has already disappeared. So that means less work for us, right? And then as a bonus, we have an alternate palette here that we can use to change this square so that it's the right color. Okay? So that was a lot. If you're still watching, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And what would be even more helpful is I could tell by this you're probably enjoying this video because my retention is very low around here. So if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications because we're going to be doing a lot of crazy stuff around here, so you're not going to want to miss it. All right, so let's go ahead and save this as a new palette now. Save BG and replace. Awesome. So now we can go into yy-chr and open up the new palette. So I'm going to do open palette, and I'm going to open up this copy. Awesome. So now we could see we have our corrected alternate palette. So let's go to the primary palette. We can see, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, I think it's 3 squares. So turning on that grid sometimes helps. So it's the 4th square, I want to say. Yeah. Let's try that. So now we click on our primary or our alternate palette, and then we're going to fill in all of these with our new color in C. Right. So now click save. I'm going to close out of this and do file, open recent, copy. Okay, so it looks like we actually did not replace the palette here, so I'm gonna do that. Awesome. So now it is updated and looks like it's the right color. So let's continue our journey into editing this. So you're gonna notice 2 things when you're editing this. One, if you go to the primary palette, you'll be able to tell which ones are the primary palette. And the reason that is because they just look natural. Like if you're looking at this, yeah, there's no way that matches that. But this does match that. So that's kind of what you got to do. And another thing is with things like these, there's these corner pieces you'll notice. And you'll see that some of them should be one color in the game, but other times it has multiple colors. And that's another reason that's telling you I need to switch palettes. And that's what I'm going to show you here. So let's go ahead and edit the next row. So we can go to this one and fill that in just like that. Make sure my computer doesn't sleep on me. All right, so let's fill that in. Just being careful about this wildcard background here. Want to make sure we don't go over that. It's kind of like brings me back to elementary school, like don't color outside of the lines or whatever. People would always tell me that because I was kind of bad at drawing, to be honest. I was better at sounds, as I discovered later. Anyway, let's go ahead. Now you can see this looks right with our alternate palette, so we can fill that in. Awesome. And I'm going to make your lives a whole bunch easier by what you could do is hold down Control-C. And if you notice, none of these have wildcard backgrounds, so we can just copy paste. So we do copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. Awesome. This one does though, so we're gonna have to go back. And this one I can kind of barely tell because my eyesight is getting worse. So yeah, you just got to be careful. And pro tip, if you want to undo something, Control-Z. And then if you want to redo it, it's actually Control-Y. So you can see all of that in here. Awesome. Cool. So it looks like we just have this one, which I can barely see this. Okay, there we go. And there we go. I think that's all of them. And now, this is where that second tip comes into play. you could see there's two colors here. There's that blue one that makes sense, but these are black. We haven't filled those in yet. So if we switch, you'll see it changes immediately to one color. And that's our primary palette. So 2 tips right there into play. And third tip, last tip, is to save and check your progress, because that will really help you see what you're actually doing to change the game. So let's go ahead and put that in there. Just go through all of these. Click yes. I'm just gonna zoom through all of this. And that's not working because I think this has actually changed our palette on us. Or you know what it is actually? It's that I didn't reopen the ROM inside of yy-chr. So if we reopen this, since we've changed it, then it's gonna load in the new palette, but we're gonna have to go back down. Cool. So now we can resume. And this part I'm probably gonna do a little bit of fast forwarding because it's gonna be me just repeating all the steps we went over. Oh, looks like we got a spot. Man, there's always something, isn't there? So we gotta clean that up. And that's probably a silly mistake I made or just ignored. So save it, go there. Is that thing? Okay, good. That thing is still recording. Man, that took long. And moment of truth. Look at that. We erased the floor. That is pretty crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned something new. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment your ideas below. Love to see them. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.